Thank you, Doug. Wow. Okay. I had a couple things I wanted to say to start. One is that in 1970, when I was a senior at the University of Michigan, a friend of mine said, "Well, what are you going to do after college?" And I said, "Besides avoiding the draft," I said, "I want to be a writer." And that was like a dream state. I had never had that thought before that moment. And so that launched a 42-year career as the poet laureate of nowhere. Um, and so I was lucky. About 10 years later, I met Deborah, my lovely wife. And the second major commitment of my life was standing in front of me. And so the poems tonight are kind of the confluence of two enormous commitments I've made. One is to the beauty of the spoken word, and the other is to the potential embedded in a loving relationship. So it's kind of amazing that those two things are here tonight. It's awesome to me. And so I've been writing, and hopefully I'll be able to communicate some of that to you tonight. While I was listening to Doug, I was thinking, it's an amazing thought to be a poet in America, especially at the community level. It takes 500 hours of production to do a 30-minute reading. So it's kind of ironic, and it must be a labor of love. I actually learned how to use a movie camera for the first time. So I'll just start, and I'm going to read for about 35 or 40 minutes. And I'll be reading. Deborah's not quite sure what she's going to do. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yarrow was going to turn it off. The first poem is called Waves. When I hear your invitation, I crawl into the soft boat between your legs. We rock through the night. The tide moves through the massive flesh of the ocean outside our window. Waves hurl themselves up on the shore. I hear them in between your long exhalations. You know, there's a kind of I don't know, I think it's a shamanic moment when the poem stops, and I have no clue what people are supposed to do at that moment. Like, you can be utterly quiet and attentive, or you can cheer or yell one more time. I could do that again. But so it's kind of strange. People just are not used to a poetry reading, and I'm equally unused to it, actually. So with Doug's invitation. When I hear your invitation, I crawl into the soft boat between your legs. We rock through the night. The tide moves through the massive flesh of the ocean outside our window. Waves hurl themselves up on the shore. I hear them in between your quiet exhalations. Silence. A small trout splashes through the surface of the lake and disappears. Tiny rock slides that clattered all afternoon grow still. For a moment, it is quiet. So quiet. You stoke the fire and sing into the silence. Music always flows out of you. When I look at you, I see lake water. I am like the leaping trout. I fall into your eyes. Ripples radiate out in peaceful circles. It's interesting. This is the second edition of the booklet, We Become Moonlight. And the first edition, which is already a collector's item and for sale on eBay, by the way, I was trying to capture this note of like the kind of the Buddhaville, perfect, spiritual, quiet, infinitely compassionate occasions of our relationship. And so I want to finish one more poem in that kind of genre and then move on to some others which may be a shade more realistic. Coming from you. We walk around a small lake. A breeze ruffles the feathers of 6 baby ducks. They paddle towards their mother. You say, I will always love you. Your face turns to me in a gesture I know so well, your neck curved and extended. My body ripples as if my backbone were a reed attached to something dark at the bottom of the lake. I face the wind that roils the waters. I believe it is coming from you. So, I have a little signal. When I put on my hat, you're allowed to say anything you want during the poem. So we're going to move into, this is a poem called You Want to Fight. Fire and fury flash in your eyes. Forget everything I said about the blue-green ocean there. You are about as accepting as a stormtrooper's boot. Hell yes, it's your fault. It's your hormones, your parents, your brainstem injury, your gender, whatever. Yes. I know how to sweep. I've had a lot of lessons. Maybe you're a shitty teacher. Men, write that one down. Maybe you're a shitty teacher. Did you ever think of that? Any guest who looks behind the refrigerator, I'm sending home. Oh, you're waiting for an apology. The Jews are still waiting for the Messiah. You're right. I have to learn how to grovel. That's what I'm doing now. You can't tell? You're still mad? Aren't there some drugs for that? Some Eastern meditations? You know, Om and shit like that? No, I'm not mad. Why would you think that? But nobody yelled at that.
Whatever happened to just say yes?
I missed that one. I left that. Okay, my hat's going off now. We're going deep. Okay.
Good signal.
This is a poem called Trails. On the north side of Mount Thompson, a glacier melts and becomes a river downhill from granite. My lover dances along the trail's edge by the steep canyon. I followed her for miles through the raspberry scent of spring in the mountains. As the sweat poured off my face, I thought of all the things we do later in our tent. She is the sun. She heats the solid mass of ice that is my heart. The meadows are full of trails of water where she walks, and the lush fertility of the marshland absorbs all sound of her passing. On the north side of Mount Thompson, a glacier melts and becomes a river downhill from granite. My lover dances along the trail's edge by the steep canyon. I followed her for miles through the raspberry scent of spring in the mountains, all the while thinking of what we would do later in our tent. She is like the sun. She heats the solid mass of ice that is my heart. The meadows are full of trails of water where she walks, and the lush fertility of the marshland absorbs all sound of her passing. So in that poem, I try to capture the part of Deborah which is like a goddess, right? The goddess. I mean, my gosh. Wow. Lucky me. Around us. Summer heat leaks into our bedroom, and the wooden blinds begin to sway. Everything between you and me is moving too. You breathe, I breathe. My heart expands, becomes like the vast sky over the blue-green ocean. Our arms hold one body of joy. Our arms hold one body of joy. So I was thinking, getting ready for the reading, that when a person, there's a beautiful Pablo Neruda poem about, I don't know how it happened, but poetry came spinning out of the universe and landed on me, and then my life was like totally taken over. I'm paraphrasing, but it's an awesome poem about what happens when an art arrives inside you and you have to commit yourself to it fully, totally, absolutely. And the thing that's like a relationship like that, the same thing happened to me when I agreed to marry Deborah. I had no idea what I was promising. I really had no idea. So there's an incredible parallel there in those two paths. And so the reading and the writing is really about using one of those paths to communicate the complexity and the awesomeness, the awfulness of that path of relationship. It can be extremely difficult, as most of us know. But I'm not going to read a poem about that. This is more a poem about the duration, the idea of duration. That once you make that commitment, you could go 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. And we're starting to realize what happens when you're 80, when you're 90, how much care you need. Protection. Young girls with their long brown legs surround me in the plaza in the springtime. But their faces are blank slates, not full of the reminders of autumn like yours. Time has worn away our favorite rugs and chairs. And we know that the country of the aged is just a few houses away. The country of the aged is just a few houses away. I want to go there with you. Your softness deserves protection. If we are lucky, we will watch out for each other as the lights and the sounds grow dim. If we are lucky, we will grow littler together, and the shine of our love will light the night sky. I'm going there. Okay.
Doing good, Guido.
Put my hat on. Thanks, Guido. Okay. The amazing thing about Deborah is like, she has this incredible sense of humor. She's incredibly funny. So she kept saying, you got to read some funny poems. You got to like, there's got to be something funny. And I have been accused of having a small sense of humor myself. I'm trying to cultivate it, but I'm working on it. To coin a phrase. Okay. The human volcano. I've had a request for my hat. So again, you're free to say whatever you want.
Don't blow it.
The human volcano. I've been hit by rocks that have come out of her during explosions. I've been warmed by the lava that ceaselessly flows towards me. Entering hardware stores, she liberates thermometers. After the mercury explodes from the top of the glass tube, it yells, "Free at last! Free at last!"
Thank God Almighty.
When she goes into the kitchen, pies in the freezer begin to bake. They fill the room with a fruity perfume, which reminds me of some Sunday afternoons with her, the details I cannot reveal here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Good idea. And Deborah has an amazing poetic heart. I mean, people that heard her speak know that she has an incredible poetic heart. So she actually, in helping me edit poems, and believe me, I took all of her edits. I know what would happen if I didn't. She actually came up with the line, "We become moonlight," which not only became the last line of the poem, became the title of the book, of the chapbook. So, we become moonlight. The half moon blesses the oak trees behind our house. I hold you in our bedroom. Tomorrow's complex plans dissolve. Yesterday is a candle you blow out when you touch me. I exhale and relax. My breath mingles with yours and moves out into the sky. Are you next to me or inside me? We become moonlight. Yeah, so enough of that, meditative stuff. For a moment here, we might return to it. So, there's that meditative quality, and then there's just that earthy, passionate, screwed up, chaotic, lovely, terrifying, fiery part of relationship. And that is the hardest to write about. So I've got a couple of poems that I'm kind of aiming in that direction. This is called My Horse, My Fate. The fiery horse of our love gallops down a long road. Its burning opens up the sky with sparks and beauty. The horse never falters. When you yell at me, when I lose the thread of our love, when a young part of me thinks my mother will never come back from the hospital, the horse inside me doesn't falter or fade. It gallops past orchards full of the history we have shared, years graying under our feet. No love of ours can stop the changes. We have filled years with children, with failures to have children. We got lost in the maze of biology. Doctor visits too painful to remember. All this doesn't matter. I can't get off the horse. The horse's destiny, karma, fate, call it what you want. I ride it towards you. Sometimes I hurt your feelings. You get mad. You pull away. I pulverize my body on the wall that separates you and me. Sometimes I yell back at your accusations. Sometimes I beg you for mercy. Sometimes the cries never escape my body. Sometimes they shatter windows. The horse gallops towards the future. Spring rain always returns. Light comes back from the north and makes me want to lie down in warm furrows of soil and merge with you and bless the fruitful earth for another year. My horse is a lucky charm. I found you in a beach town. Moonlight never looked so good as the night I walked by the lighthouse with you and you said you would marry me. The foghorn gave its warning to the darkness. You lit the candle of hope in me. I thought, I can be loved. I can love. Until that moment, I didn't know. Here is my confession. Whatever I say to you, I plead, love me, love me. I hate how close you come to me. You can break me in two with a word. I die over and over when you go away. I come back to life when I see your eyes.
That's a wow.
Okay.
Will you read that one again, even like later?
Possibly, sure. Okay.
Put your hat on, I can tell you tonight.
You can talk, Hal. All right. So as some of you may have noticed in long-term or short-term relationships, there's a quality known as heat. And usually you're going to feel it at some point. It can be the heat of love or radical shame, but it's coming. So I'm trying to also, there's a little 3 poems that sort of interface around heat. Heat. And this one's called Heat. See, it all fits together. We stand together on a San Diego beach on the 4th of July. Small boats are moored in rows in the calm water. Rockets paint pinwheels of light on the black silk of the night sky. As summer heat comes off of your skin, I think I could drown in this warmth without a struggle. I could drown in this warmth without a struggle. So, loss is its own form of heat. Burn it. We walk down the fire road towards our house. I clasp your hand more tightly and look out at our beautiful world. Stern oak trees, brown summer grasses rolling over the hills. The moon rises over San Francisco, and the setting sun reflects off of faraway windows. You guide me towards the only home I've ever known. If I lose you, burn the whole thing down. No darkness would be deep enough.
One more time. Please.
Burn it. We walk down the fire road toward our house. I clasp your hand more tightly and look out at our beautiful world. Stern oak trees, brown summer grasses rolling over the hills. The moon rises over San Francisco, and the setting sun reflects off faraway windows. You guide me towards the only home I have ever known. The only home I have ever known. If I lose you, burn the whole thing down. No darkness would be deep enough. monsoon. We stayed at the monastery for 2 weeks, clad in celibate white. That's a key detail. Celibate white monastery.
2 weeks.
It's going to go somewhere. We walked into the jungle. A monsoon crashed toward us like an angry elephant. The rain came down so hard that we howled back at the thunderous clatter on the sheet metal roof above us. Rain splattering on your long sleeve shirt made little damp spots like windows. After 2 weeks in celibate white, those windows. Hold on. Rain splattering on your long sleeve shirt made little damp spots like windows. Everywhere I could see your skin through the light material. I wanted to kiss. I wanted to kiss. All right. All right. I've got one longer poem left, and I wanted to do a couple logistical things. This may come as a big surprise, but poets need money. So I'm selling the chapbook, and I also have email lists because I'm going to start doing a series of local readings, and I'm going intergalactic. A lot of you don't know that the internet now reaches out to other planets, and I'm getting requests for the chapbook in languages which don't exist on Earth. It's amazing, incredible. So, I'm going to be doing the Facebook with the videos and just keeping things alive that way. So if you sign up, I'll basically send you stuff every couple of minutes. And my own thank yous go out to Gaby, of course, who's also responsible for the paintings. She's an incredible painter. And as Doug said, it's really a joy to come in here during the day when there's just a hubbub of kids throwing pots and gluing stuff together, and it's just an incredibly happy vibe. And as an artist, it's just like I could drink that all day. It's just so like, wow, like food. And Jimmy Hobson is the downstairs man that has a music studio, and he helps set up all of the equipment, which really would have taken me 2.5 years. And obviously Rusty is here and Helen are helping with the cameras, and really thank you so much for that. And my great friends Guillermo and Doug and Dan, my deepest regards as art buddies, helping in the production today of getting things organized. Charlotte is here. Charlotte did the videos that we posted online, and Charlotte makes videos for people, and really was a great artistic ally. Excuse? That's Charlotte. Yeah. And Tony Jones is the designer. She works at Avatar Community Business Services in Fairfax. She's an incredible advocate of art. She's doing some writing herself, so she's awesome to be working with. And many of our, Bill Ernst, our friend, technical support, he is everybody's phone helper with computer stuff. So Bill Ernst was helpful in this. And of course, if Deborah, I mean, my gosh. I mean, it's like, Deborah's not on this list. Well, no, but it's the whole evening as a thing. Do I have to say that? Come on. All right. So, one more poem. This is called Put Me In, Coach. At our wedding, the trampling feet of children could not disturb the sanctity of what we did. I promised everything to you. My future, my faith, my love. Then I let you down over and over. I pretended I was someone I was not. I yelled. I defended. I lied about the pornography. I signed the confession 1,000 times while you watched me from the judge's bench. Still, I want you to know, as distracted as I can be by money, my precious writing, the future, our family, my ego, I've always wanted to rip off the veils in front of my face and show you the person you thought you married. I can be impatient, unreachable, confused, unwilling. That list isn't done, and you know it. I'm like the broken boxer that moves towards the center of the ring when he hears the bell. I always want to move toward you, no matter what I've done. Every day, I hear the bell that calls me to you. Here's some news, though. Sometimes you freeze me out. You retell the story about how bad I am. Your pain produces the thorns that grow in your heart. Still, I offer you an olive branch, a sign of peace, because I keep hearing in my head the famous line, "Put me in, coach. I'm the kid on the bench. I can't make the free throw. I can't rebound." But I look hopefully at the coach, confident today is the day of the miracle. Put me in, coach. I can do it. I can save the game, the team, the marriage. I'll always rise up to you, like some hero in a never-ending story, through blood, thorns, rage, and separation. I'll always move towards the center of my life, you. Put me in, coach. I want to love you as you deserve. I want to show you my true face.
Read that one poem, that one that Helen asked you again.
About the horse?
No, about the night Deborah said yes.
The wedding day.
Everybody has a favorite one.
The foghorn calling in the morning.
Oh, that's a different one.
That's the horse.
That's
No,
the
no,
horse.
no.
He wanted, I think he wanted to fight. Did you one?
You want to fight?
Wait, no. Put your hand up. Deal. Put your
You want to fight?
No, no.
Not even the foghorn.
It was.
Well, the foghorn's the horse.
It's the horse.
That's what I meant.
It's the horse. It's the horse. The galloping horse. Yeah.
Galloping foghorn.
That's it, the galloping foghorn. That's
No, it's the raspberry one.
One up
It's
in
the
the mountain.
raspberry one.
that's the trails.
Oh, Trail.
Trails.
All right.
Okay. Take your hat off.
Put me in, coach.
Okay. This is new. This is not, I haven't read this one tonight. Okay. Apple juice. Our bed holds just the two of us. and a basket of apples, as red as your skin when I rub it. We bite on an apple together. Sweet juice runs down our lips and breasts, between our legs. We push and pull on the most tender parts of each other. Apple trees, leaf and fruit outside of our window. Our repeated murmurs urge tiny ants to mate in the great halls they have made beneath our floor. Our repeated murmurs urge tiny ants to mate in the great halls they have made beneath our floor. Constant tremors from their motion remind the sun to keep shining, or humans would have to live on the warmth coming from our bed alone. That's the encore. Thank you all. So people are welcome to support local